Beautiful. One last machining detail to do before I get this ready for paint, and it's the seal interaction at the threshold or the bottom of the door. It's slightly different. I wouldn't be doing this sort of setup if this was a weathered door, so if it's in the elements and getting a lot of rain on it, this is not enough to cope with a lot of rain. So this is purely because this door is set so far back under this canopy, water is not going to be gushing down this door and attacking this threshold. So don't copy this exact setup if you're planning on sticking a normal exterior door on. This is purely really a setup just to stop a bit of draft underneath the door. I'm going to use an Aquamat 21 draft strip in this groove here, which is what I've got the router bit or router cutter for. And I've already cut the door off to this length. So what I'm going to do is machine this exact detail in the bottom of the door, and the door is cut to the right length to suit my frame opening. If we're looking at this drawing here, this line here is the brickwork line. This is where the screed, like the indoor screed line, comes up. It's just slightly higher than the blue bricks on the outside. And then this top surface here, which is black, is where the indoor cork matting will go, and that's the outdoor tile finish. So they're going to be pretty much flush through with each other. I'm just going to have a little bit of a raise on the stainless. There's a stainless steel bar I'm going to set into the floor, so it's a 5x50 bar from sort of this depth here down, and that's just going to stick up 5mm. The draft strip, when the door is in the closed position, is going to be sealing onto the top edge of that strip, and that will give me a draft seal along the bottom of the door. This is where drawing is really important to understand sort of the size of the door and everything and how it all interacts. If I just unclick the door view and the cork mat, we can see that that's where my frame is sitting. My frame's sitting on the screed, and this is the flooring that runs around the outside within the house, and this is all going to be cork matting. So my frame is going to sit on the screed. There's actually a out of level difference on the floor between this side and this side over here, so it makes it a little bit difficult. And then I will machine a little groove in the frame before I fit it, and the groove in the frame will be in the exact right position in terms of height. In this cut here, that will be perfect. But what I'll do is make sure there's a bit of clearance on the bottom of the frame. So basically when I drop the frame in position, all I've got to make sure is that this stainless bar in the floor is nice and level and in the right location, sort of front to back. And then when I fit the frame, I just drop it on so it lands in them grooves. My door and draft seal and threshold all should work perfectly and interact with each other. So looking at the actual door, this is the outside. So from that drawing, I'm going to rebate down here in 5mm, take all of that material away, and then use my router cutter to create the draft seal groove. Back in the day, I would have tried to push this over the spindle moulder. It's much easier on a big door like this to router it. So tracksaw rail is like a backstop for the router fence. Like that, using the new little trend clamps. And when that rebate done, it's the trend draft strip cutter to put the profile in that accepts the Aquamat 21. So that's our profile that fits in like that, and our stainless bar is pretty much level with the bottom of the door here from our drawing. So it's going to sit in that location there, like that, and that is our draft seal onto the bar. And then we've got beautiful a seal which will sit like that under the door, and loads of clearance in front of it, which is perfect. And to get that capillary groove in, I'm going to want it roughly, I've got a trend sort of dome cove bit, I don't know what you call it, but I want it about 8mm from the face of the door. So if I just measure that on, I've got a block of timber here, I'll just clamp it to my router. Put the clamps this way around, the weight of them offsets the weight of the router as I'm using it horizontally. I've just got to set that, the bigger this piece of wood, the better, because it gives you a better reference on the bottom of the door. Just got to wind the depth in to suit the drip groove. The router direction is spinning obviously clockwise, so I don't want to go in from this angle, else it's going to try and ride me out the cut. So I'll start from the other end. So I took all the measurements off the drawing, and I can just measure down from the top of my door opening down on here and mark out like where my door is going to be and how it'll interact with that stainless bar. Then that'll give me a height, and then I just need to groove that bar into here and into this frame a small amount. Just fits in that. So if I put the draft seal in that's going in that groove there, got to remember the floor level is about where that draft seal finishes, so if you a couple of mil below the top of that groove, and that will be my weather bar sort of across the bottom of the door like that. And then the draft seal underneath the door is going to sit, the groove for the draft seal in the door is pretty much in line with that stainless bar, so it's going to sit something like that. They pretty much interact with each other at the edge of the door, and you get very little drafts in terms of them little pockets at the where you get the door gap, and normally your draft seals don't align at the edges of the door, so hopefully that'll eliminate any drafts at that location. So I'm going to head over to site this morning and fit the stainless steel bar in preparation for fitting the frame. Got me resin kit. I've got to keep all my little Fisher resin kit in here, and that's what I'm going to be using to fit the bar into the, like, it's a screeded floor, 100mm screed. I'm going to be using a stainless steel bar like this one. This is 30mm. The one I'm going to be fitting is 40mm tall, 40x5. So I'm just going to make up a couple of jacks out of a bit of timber that's going to hold this when it's in the floor and I'm setting the resin. I can hold it to a set height and keep it nice and like vertical in the floor while the resin goes off. Right, so that's my little jack. I can put that over the stainless bar and cut it down to height as I see fit, and then just it will lock on to that bar. And then whatever height I cut it at, and I think I want 15mm, it'll obviously hold it out the ground 50mm and hold it nice and square relative to the bit of ground it's sat on. Okay, here we are on site, and this is where the door is going to be going, but obviously we're in the customer's house, pretty much finished house up to here. I've just moved all this stuff from by the door, but we are in a finished house, and I've got to disc cut a threshold in this doorway. So first job is to seal the house off from the doorway so that I don't make any dust, and plaster the house just before Christmas. Here you can see the cork mat is flush with the flooring, so that's going to be our finished floor through the doorway. These things are great, called zip holes. Clip a little bit of plastic through the plate like that, it just sandwiches in and clicks over. And you can extend these poles up to like, I think 3.6 metres. So they're sprung loaded on the ends. You create a quick like dust barrier in seconds. You pull the plastic down tight against the top of the pole, lift the bottom up, and then trap the bottom of it underneath the bottom of the pole. Do loads of different attachments and stuff as well, like foam strips that can push against the walls to make it even more airtight. But it's a pretty good system for quickly screening off an area. Just for belt and braces on this one, I'm going to put 2 screens up, so a second layer of plastic in front of the first. Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good seal. It's sort of sat in the cavity there on this first layer, then up against the plaster behind it with a second layer of plastic, so spot on. My bar's going from like here to here, so nothing's in the way. Oh, so I've just temporarily took that front screen down because I needed to check where this frame was going to sit before I grind this groove out for the bar. So I've set the first laser here, the little one, the little R2D2 as it gets called, on the inside lining position, so it's sort of flush with the plasterwork all the way around the inside of the lining. So that's where that's going to finish neatly if everything was level. Then I've just measured off from that line 400mm, like an even amount, with a couple of folding rules, and set the other laser up, and everything looks pretty nice across the line. It's pretty consistent, apart from down this corner there's a little bit of discrepancy on the level. It's about 12mm from top to bottom, so I'm going to go with that because everything works out. Just a slight bit of out of level here, but my cover strip of timber is being rebaited around the brickwork, so you'll never see that discrepancy. So those 2 lines basically have given me the flat position of the frame. The frame is going to sit back, marked it on this line at 400 here. So I've got both lasers set up on the 100mm. So that's the face of my frame on the outside. So from that line I can now mark back in my known width from the face of the frame to where the stainless steel bar is going to go, and groove it into this sort of subfloor. Luckily it's a nice cold day and I can feel that the underfloor heating is like way back here. It's not anywhere near the front of this frame or in this reveal, so I'm hopefully not in any danger of cutting through some water pipes. Right, there you go, all set up. Got me customer's professional dust catcher for the angle grinding. So I'm going to straddle that bad boy. Also got a proper bit of workwear on, look, firing overalls. So let's see if we can find what's under here. This is an outside finish tile. Gonna make up the steps, so it's about 20 mil off these blues. There's an absolute minimum, but this stainless bar wants to be 5 mil up from the internal flooring, so the cork mat, and then the bar sits 5 mil up from the cork mat. So just set it out. I've got my laser set up over here, 5 mil off the flooring. Hand screwdriver, I just want to snap a bit of wood. Hopefully, we'll just hold that spot on the right level. Look at that, you little beauty. Just adjust this one tiny little bit. That's my level sorted. Running out of light actually. I've put a token bit of masking tape down, but none of this is seen. It's all covered by flooring or tiles. I'm just going to fill that groove up. Beautiful. Fairly straight. Ooh. It's not too bad. Bit of a bow on it. Something like that. A bit of a grout line in between, maybe a bit of foam strip with a grout line on top, stop any cold bridging. And yeah, door seal onto that stainless bar and be nice and seamless underfoot. You see my level line on my block there, catching the top of the bar, just splitting the laser level line, so I know it's nice and level. Same on this side, and that laser line is set at like 5 mil up from the flooring. Look at that, it's not the best lighting in here, but I've not hoovered up yet. The first dust sheet was here and there's a little bit of dust got to there. And my second dust sheet tucked in the corner there. There's a tiny bit just there before it, but nothing beyond it. What a brilliant system. And it's so quick, I put 2 up, which you would never do traditionally, like making timber screens or something like that. So yeah. Really does work well. What a great system. There we go, that's the stainless steel bar set in the floor. So I hope you enjoyed watching that one. Something a little bit different. Yeah, carry on watching if you want to see this door get fitted. And thanks for all the feedback and comments. Really, really appreciate it. Couldn't believe how many comments I've had on some of these videos, how positive they've been. So really, really do appreciate it. So thank you.